This guy writes, my girlfriend got mad at me because I saw boobs on a TV show we were watching. Yeah, so she's either testing you or she is insecure. Either way, what you don't want to do is be all apologetic about being attracted to boobs. Instead, just own it. So yeah, I was looking at those. They're boobs, So it's like, but if you basically cave and be apologetic, what you'll find is that even though she might like reward you initially, after that, she's really going to perceive you as basically breaking your word or not saying what you feel. And she's really going to perceive you as more weak over time compared to when you can resist her and own what you feel. It's like that's a natural thing. It's like that's not going to go away. And basically, hiding from that isn't going to make you appear strong. So just own that, hey, I looked at boobs. I like boobs. And when you can do that, it's like the initial reaction will probably be negative. So she might call you names or whatever she's doing that basically tries to punish you. And then she might give you space, but then all of a sudden she comes back and then there's even a stronger connection because you were able to resist her because you stood up for what is really true in you. Let's get into the post. Me and her were watching a show of her choosing last night. So she picked the show. When a sex scene started showing pretty much everything. Instead, you say something like, hey, let's reenact that scene right now, with her, So it's like you say that to her, or you just make it playful. Now, seeing as we were both pretty invested in it, I didn't look away. She then immediately got mad at me, saying, I can't believe you looked at her then. Yeah, that's when you say, like, well, let's reenact the scene. I genuinely thought she was joking when she said this, so I didn't really take any notice. But it soon came to light when she was indeed quite mad about it when she video called her friend in front of me and said he was looking at tits on the TV. Guess who's not having sex tonight now? You say, "Oh, your loss." That's what you say. So it's like you don't just say what or get upset or whatever, or just lose your cool or lose your emotional center. It's like when she treats you like that, just don't even fucking acknowledge her. Um, Now I don't use not having sex as a weapon or a punishment personally. It doesn't really bother me if we do it or don't, but this really annoyed me in the moment as she decided to basically slate me to her friend on the phone in front of me over something that in the grand scheme of things isn't really a big deal in my eyes anyway. Yeah, and her friend's probably going to back her in that moment, but it's like she logically, intellectually knows that it's like her having this huge overreaction. But in that moment, she's probably going to have basically an emotional reaction to support her friend. Just be aware of that, and you can't just indulge in that. You can't apologize. You can't say, oh, I'm so bad, or punish yourself or things like that. Don't even acknowledge it. Or you have an attitude that's like, well, that's really your loss if you don't want to have sex with me. Or if you're trying to basically cut off sex or you're trying to get upset, it's like that's just coming from you being insecure or something else that's going on in your life that isn't going right. And now you're pinpointing this on me because this stupid thing, it's like grand scheme of things isn't really a big deal in my eyes anyway. After she finished telling her friend how I'm not getting any tonight, that she also didn't want me touching her at all. So now what are you doing? She's basically shaming you, trying to shame you, and now you're trying to chase her. So it's like you don't do that when it's like think back to that negotiation principle. It comes up so much. So it's like when she basically backs off or tries to shame you, the worst thing you could do is try to pursue her. And what you're doing right now is she's shaming you, and now you're trying to almost like reward her by trying to initiate contact or convince her to not be mad at me. Don't be mad at me, kind of deal. And when you do that, and it's basically you lost the negotiation when you try to pursue her in a moment like that. So it's like you walk away. It's like don't even indulge in that at all. Don't give her that attention. And then when she basically she'll try more to get your attention, she'll basically act out probably even more, or give you a few days space and not even talk to you. but you just hold strong. And when you hold strong, it's like be that rock, be that mountain, be that immovable, basically, person. And when you can do that, then she'll come back to you and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. That was so ridiculous of me." And then it's done, and then it won't happen again for the most part, unless you're basically being weak again. And usually, when these kind of situations happen, it's because you're not showing up strong in other areas of the relationship. And so she's basically trying to see what she can get away with, or see how you'll react to these kind of situations, whether you act in a weak way, which would be pursuing her, which you're doing right now, trying to initiate contact and basically try to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "I didn't want to hurt your feelings," or instead, she wants you to really act in a strong way, even though the initial reaction probably won't be good. You just have to maintain that, and it might take a few days, maybe even a week. All I told her to grab her coat as I was taking her home, because I felt she had really mugged me off by telling her friend about me in front of me. When then We then spent the next 10 minutes driving back to her place in complete silence. This may seem like a joke, but she was genuinely angry with me about the whole TV phone call, but let me mute it here. Angry with me about the whole TV show thing. So basically, I was hoping you guys could help me understand a few things. Is my frustration justified? Yeah, I mean, as far as emotional reactions go, it's quote unquote justified, but how you need to respond to this is to not chase her when she basically tries to shame you or says that you upset her. It's like, don't try to please her in those kind of situations. It's like, well, I looked at boobs. And you own that, and it's like, well, I'm not really going to lie and say I don't like boobs, because that's just not even relevant, and I don't want to live in that fantasy realm. Um, did I go too far by taking her home straight away? Well, you didn't really take her home straight away. You went and tried to initiate contact, and then you failed, and then you took her home. And so it's like, what you did before taking her home was, well, what you probably should have done is been playful at the beginning. So you should have taken that line, and I got that from Coach Corey Wayne, which is like, let's reenact the scene right now. And if you would have approached it in that playful way, that could have diffused it right there. The next mistake you made was after she called her friend. So it's like, well, she brought it up. You probably didn't have a good reaction. You probably lost your temper a little bit, or got a little bit upset, and she could feel that upsetness. So the next thing she does is she doubles down. And so she doubles down to see how you'll react again. And she almost senses that kind of weakness in you, really, because you're not owning what you feel or what you see. And so now she doubles down and she gets with her friend and she tries to basically team up on you. What's your reaction there? Well, your reaction is to go and try and initiate contact, but she rejects you. And so now you are in that pursuing thing, and then basically you lost the negotiation right there. You conveyed weakness, and then you're like, well, I'll send her home because that's the only thing I know what to do. So right now, your situation, it kind of looks like that. So now you're taking her home, you leave her, and I wouldn't even reach out to her, and then she has to basically reach out to you and apologize to you. Don't try to reach out to her. Don't try to say, "I'm so sorry for hurting your feelings. I can't believe what I did." Just ridiculous things that don't even make any sense. Don't indulge in that. And so right now you have to back off. And she has to basically now wonder about you, and you have to stay strong in that basically backing off phase. That can be difficult. You might have those urges to reach out to her, but you have to just basically stay in that position, that strong position. Otherwise, if you basically cave, then she's not going to respect you as much, and she's basically going to feel like she can walk all over you, or she's going to convey you as more weak, as more like this pleaser, instead of basically the ability to resist her. And the ability to resist her makes her really feel safe in the end. And so that's what you got to do. You got to just back off and let her come to you. And then you might even say, you know, hey, how you treated me, you know, I'm not really going to put up with that. And so it's like you can, you know, reach out to me and you can apologize to me right now. Um, you know, otherwise, I don't really want to talk. And then she might say, test you again, and then not do it, and then walk away again. And then you might be like, you just stay strong again, and then she'll come back.